So when I draw Toothless, I was kind of looking at the shape of his head and body. The head is really important because he has that pointy part coming down. So I think I'll do the body first because it's the biggest, and then I'll add the head and then the wings and the tail. So I'm going to start with, he has this wide neck, and I'm looking at a picture as I draw. So if you have one nearby or can look one up, it's helpful. So I'm gonna start with this like kind of marshmallow shape. This little pair of parentheses right here is his body, and then his legs are gonna come out like that. So first step, neck. Next step, 2 parentheses for the body, and then you're gonna make 2 blocky legs. The next step before we move on to the head, we can add this little hind leg back here. And the trick is, in my opinion, to try to make it kind of a similar size to the other ones. And then you can add your little toenails. Normally I will wait to do the details until last, but I think it helps kind of give you some confidence, like, hey, that is starting to look like Toothless as you go. So the thicker legs worked out better. And then for his head, the shape that I see when I look at him, dragons are like kind of big lizards in a way, right? So they kind of have this pointy part where their mouth is. And so like a V. And then I'm just going to make like an oval shape, go up like that. And he has these like spiky things that come out. I'll add that last. But I can do those, I don't know if they're called horns on a dragon, almost like ears, I guess. They kind of look like little, like short rabbit ears. And then another thing that makes Toothless Toothless is he has a mini pair right there. So it's like a letter M with 2 triangles. Okay. So now we can start adding the details. I'm gonna go with this little wing over here. And again, you just have to play with the sizes. Maybe draw this 3 or 4 times until you're happy with it. So I'm just gonna make like it's almost like a little butterfly wing on that side. And then the way he is sitting, his other wing is coming out so you can see it. But right where the same, or the other wing starts, I'm gonna make this elbow shape. And it should kind of line up with the other one because they're symmetrical, even though this one's turned a different way. So I'm gonna make the elbow kind of thing, and then I'm gonna make it go up. So it's like he has this weird arm coming up, which becomes his wing. And another thing with how to draw that's gonna help you is like comparing. So comparing how tall this wing is, this one should also be the same height. So I just kind of look at the other side and make sure it's lined up with his head the same way. Also, that just comes. So I'm gonna make his wing come out. Yeah, I want like a big wing. It's kind of like this hook that comes down. And so now I have a pretty good shape. I feel like his wings are kind of small because I don't know if he's a baby, but he's very cute. So then I can do this really fun 1, 2, 3. So again, like those letter M's, I kind of repeat that same thing from his head. And I just do 3 of them and connect it to his body like that. And then this elbow can kind of come down. And what I've learned with drawing wings, like bat wings too, is that where this point is, these little tips that are in that letter M, that's where the ribbing connects. And that helps create like the skeleton type thing for the wings. So I can draw that again a second time just to get the hang of it, but he's pretty cute. I'm liking him. Now I can add his little tail. So it's just like long and just got a tiny bend at the end. You can decide how long you want to make his tail. Longer the better, I think. In this case, I can even make it a little thicker right there, make it look more realistic. Okay, so now the last part is the head. Another thing that's really important, I think, is that his smile kind of follows that shape of his head, like where we said that mouth would be. So this is like his little nose, and then the same shape, just a smaller one. And then his nose, they just draw it with like 2 little dashes, which is pretty normal for like a lizard or a reptile. And then his eyes are kind of, they're off to the side. And they kind of look like some Pokemon eyes, in my opinion. Almost like a little bit anime. So I'm gonna draw this sideways triangle. And then another thing with the eyes that's important is to make them the same size. So I just look at the other one after I'm happy with it, and that's gonna help me know how big to make the second one. And if you need to come back and erase, that's fine. And he has these big circles inside. Yeah, mine kind of looks like a Charizard. That's what reminds me of a Pokemon. All right, so that's what I came up with. It was a request from many students, so I hope you guys like it and you have lots of fun. And I can't wait to see what you get when you draw dragons. Thanks, guys. We're on to the next one. So the same way I would start a horse is I do like a big oval for the front of the body, leave a little space, and then draw a smaller one. A lot of how to draw books start animals in this way. And then connect it with a line that goes all the way out. Then the head is just another one of those hook shapes. Start with a circle. So this method's different than when we did toothless because we're just drawing from simple shapes. And this is actually how a lot of animators draw, because then they can easily bring it to life once they capture the movement. So then the wing comes out, and we're just gonna do a sweeping line down. So this is very, very basic. You should just be able to picture it starting to fly and walk around. And then can add some legs sticking out. I'm gonna make a little dot on the end just so I know to put a foot there. So I'll do the 2 front legs. Again, a little foot that I'll add to later. And then the back legs. You can make it bend if you want. Also kind of reminds me of a horse. I don't know why. Give a little foot. Try to make them the same length as the front legs. If you want, they can be a little longer. They have more power. The other one can kind of come out like that. Give it a little line for the foot. And that is the beginning. So you can watch this part a couple of times until you get the hang of it. But you have to trust me that this is a really easy way before you start thinking about all the shapes. So once you have your kind of skeleton or line drawing done, now you can start to add things to give it the shape. So for their mouths, they are wider at the top, and then when they come out to the nose, it's a little skinnier. And then now I'm just kind of looking You don't even have to follow me right now. You can kind of do it on your own. Look at what the shapes remind you of. Like, you know that this would be the neck. You know that the belly's gonna go here. You know that the tail is wider at the body and then it's skinnier as it comes to a point. Whips back and forth. And then we know that like the tail's not finished. We need to beef up the legs because they're just stick legs right now. Give it a little face. That's it. So now I can kind of come in here. And just like when we did Toothless, you can make these like letter M shapes. This dragon's wing is a little more dramatic, but he also has that elbow shape. See that right there? Like a bat wing. You can make it a little more winged by adding some webbing. And then, again, just like with Toothless, you can add some of these straight lines that also help it really look like a wing. So far, so good. Okay, so to me, the legs are the hardest part. That's why I don't draw horses very much, because I feel like I'm not very good at it, which means I should draw more, right? I should be practicing. But if you just think about it in ovals, and these sticks are really gonna help you, because all you gotta do is now, one at a time, wherever you see those stick shapes, draw an oval around them. And make the ovals follow the stick. Now this hind leg is really important because it helps them, they're just very powerful and muscular. So just like in like even a dog, the hind leg that's close to us when we look at it from the side, it should come all the way and overlap the body. So that's the only one that's gonna look a little bit different. And then I draw the feet attached to those. I'm gonna make pretty big feet also. So these can also be ovals attached. And so you just slowly build it up, detail by detail.